In the beginning of our journey at the Fielding School of Public Health, we were met with two questions. Where did we come from and where were we going? And subsequently tasked to think about what our public health impact would be. I became involved in our community by joining the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. Helping to implement dynamic programs, we aim to build community, inclusiveness, and support for our student body. After learning about system-level thinking and policy analysis and the process of scaling and strategy, I now had the skills to extend the reach of this work. I joined the newly structured Health Equity Forum, an independent umbrella group of student leaders from across the UCLA Schools of Allied Health, whose mission is for student leaders to share ideas, collaborate on projects, work together to build our campus culture of equity, social justice, anti-oppression, and embrace our impact for collective action and community engagement. I was also encouraged to apply to serve as the co-director of the UCLA Graduate Division's Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity Orientation Day 2018. Alongside an amazing team, we welcomed 400 graduate students to an impactful orientation that served to help graduate students make personal connections, to promote an inclusive campus climate, personal well-being, and academic success. We can quantify the attendees, capture qualitative data on everyone's experience, even plan to improve the process for next year. But how do we measure the unseen impact? How do we measure the spark of inspiration that may have been ignited in someone? The same spark that made Rosa Parks sit down so that this nation would stand up. The same spark that inspired students at Berkeley to start a movement in 1964. And the same spark that will lead one of you to change the world. The way I think about those original three questions has changed over the past 2 years. What is impact? How do we measure it? We have been taught to create, implement, and measure programs and policies, but how do we measure hope? How do we quantify the infinite possibilities in dreaming? How do we capture the courage to believe in a world not plagued by health disparities and oppression, but in a world fueled by love, compassion, and a devotion to the collective? Truth is, I don't know. But what I do know is that we are standing in the shade of trees that were planted for us by our ancestors, and the seeds have now fallen into our hands. So I'll ask, what is the value of inspiration? And what does hope mean to you?
Hope is power.
Inspiration is something that motivates you to be better.
Hope is always believing in a brighter future.
God's work and standing up for what you believe.
Hope is what allows me to keep going despite my present and past circumstances.
Hope is striving together.
Impact is using my privilege to create positive change.